In this quick tip, we're going to look at how to create shortcuts in a remote desktop manager. There are many reasons why you might want the same entry to appear more than once in the interface. For example, you may want to assign different access rights to a folder, create a centralized favorites folder, or reuse the same document for different scenarios. Doing this manually can be time-consuming and prone to error, and that's where shortcuts come in. Remote Desktop Manager makes it quick and simple to create shortcuts. Instead of duplicating an entry multiple times, the entry is saved once in the database and then linked to more than one group. When the data loads, Remote Desktop Manager automatically creates the link back to the original entry, and this saves time and ensures consistency. Creating a shortcut is simple. All you'll need to do is right-click your entry, go to Edit, and then select Create Shortcut here. Once that's done, you'll want to select which folder you want the shortcut to appear in. In my case, it'll be endpoint 01. As mentioned earlier, the shortcut itself is not really so much an entry. So what that means is you won't necessarily find it in your database. Instead, what happens is once I launch it, it'll link directly to the actual entry that's found in the database and use all of the information stored within this entry to duplicate it. So for example, here, I have my endpoint 01 shortcut that I just created, and the endpoint 01 folder replicates exactly the same properties as the earlier folder endpoints because I pre-configured it earlier. So if I select open session, it does exactly the same, and I didn't even have to configure it to do this. Keep in mind, however, that when you are wanting to delete the shortcuts, there will be a little prompt that appears. So if I select delete here and I select yes, I get a prompt saying that the endpoint 01 entry has shortcuts and it is in two different groups, in this case endpoint 01 and endpoints. Then it asks me to choose whether to delete all of the endpoint 01 entries, meaning these two, or simply the entry that I am attempting to delete. In my case, I want to do that. And you'll notice endpoint 01 now doesn't have the shortcuts logo anymore because it's no longer linked to any other entries. But let's say I don't want a shortcut so much for an entry, but rather for a data source or for a vault. Well, if that's what you would like, then it's very simple. You'll simply go to new entry, and then under miscellaneous, you'll have your vault shortcut and your data source shortcut. Now, both of these entries are actually configured very similarly. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is simply create a vault shortcut to show you what it does. But keep in mind that if you'd rather make a data source shortcut, we can do that too. And it's very similar to how it's done here. So to start, we're going to want to name it to what it is we want. So in my case, let's say I want Windjammer Australia here to be added to the Windjammer IT Vault. And then I will want to go ahead and select Windjammer Australia. So here we are. I've got my Vault ID, I've got the name, and I can select a folder if necessary. But I won't do that since I'm not really looking to go to a specific folder within the Vault. So once I select add, it is added right here at the end. And if I open up the session, you'll notice that right under here, I have switched now from Windjammer IT to Windjammer Australia. Creating shortcuts in Remote Desktop Manager is a great way to simplify your workspace, avoid unnecessary duplication, and keep your data organized. If you'd like to know more about shortcuts and other features, you can always consult the official documentation and knowledge base articles for further details.